The futility of bourgeois existence is extended to be that of the human situation in general, of existence per se, without success in the long run, of course. The bourgeois emptiness that has developed is as ephemeral as the class which alone still expresses itself within it, and as spineless as the illusory existence of its own bad immediacy with which it is in league. Hopelessness is itself, in a temporal and factual sense, the most insupportable thing, downright intolerable to human needs, which is why even deception, if it is to be effective, must work with flatteringly and corruptly aroused hope, which is also why hope is preached from every pulpit, but is confined to mere inwardness or to empty promises of the other world, which is why even the latest miseries of Western philosophy are no longer able to present their philosophy of misery without loaning the idea of transcendence, venturing beyond from the bank. All this means is that man is essentially determined by the future, but with the cynically self-interested inference hypostasized from its own class position that the future is the sign outside the no-future nightclub, and the destiny of man nothingness. Well, let the dead bury their dead. Even in the hesitation which the outstaying night draws over it, the beginning day is listening to something other than the putridly stifling, hollowly nihilistic death knell. As long as man is in a bad way, both private and public existence are pervaded by daydreams, dreams of a better life than that which has so far been given him. In what is false, and all the more so in what is genuine, every human intention is applied onto this ground. And even where the ground, as so often before, may deceive us, full of sandbanks one moment, full of chimeras the next, it can only be condemned and possibly cleared up through combined research into objective tendency and subjective intention. Corruptio optimi pessima. Fraudulent hope is one of the greatest malefactors, even enervators of the human race. Concretely genuine hope its most dedicated benefactor. Thus, knowing concrete hope subjectively breaks most powerfully into fear, objectively leads most efficiently towards the radical termination of the contents of fear, together with informed discontent which belongs to hope, because they both arise out of the no to deprivation. Thinking means venturing beyond. Admittedly, venturing beyond has not been all that adept at finding its thinking until now. Or even if it was found, there were too many bad eyes around which did not see the matter clearly. Lazy substitution, current copying representation, the pig's bladder of a reactionary, but also schematizing zeitgeist. These repressed what had been discovered. Marx's work marks the turning point in the process of concrete venturing beyond becoming conscious. But around this point, deeply ingrained habits of thinking cling to a world without front. Not only man is in a bad way here, but so is the insight into his hope. Intending is not heard in its characteristic anticipating tone. Objective tendency is not recognized in its characteristic anticipatory powerfulness. The desiderium, the only honest attribute of all men, is unexplored. The not yet conscious, not yet become, although it fulfills the meaning of all men and the horizon of all being, has not even broken through as a word, let alone as a concept. This blossoming field of questions lies almost speechless in previous philosophy. Forward dreaming, as Lenin says, was not reflected on, was only touched on sporadically, did not attain the concept appropriate to it. Until Marx, expectation and what is expected, the former in the subject, the latter in the object, the oncoming as a whole, did not take on a global dimension in which it could find a place, let alone a central one. The huge occurrence of utopia in the world is almost unilluminated explicitly. Of all the strange features of ignorance, this is one of the most conspicuous. In his first attempt at a Latin grammar, M. Terentius Varro is said to have forgotten the future tense. Philosophically, it has still not been adequately considered to this day. This means an overwhelmingly static thinking did not name or even understand this condition, and it repeatedly closes off as something finished what has become its lot. As contemplative knowledge, it is by definition solely knowledge of what can be contemplated, namely of the past, and it bends an arch of closed form contents out of becomeness over the unbecome. Consequently, even where it is grasped historically, this world is a world of repetition, or of the great time and again. It is a palace of fateful events, as Leibniz called it, without breaking out of it. Occurrence becomes history, knowledge re-remembering, celebration the observance of something that has been.